Hey everyone, just wanted to take a moment to talk about how to publish a book on the Apple iTunes Store. Now, the Apple iTunes Store, also known as an iPad book, because people that purchase that book will be using an Apple iPad device to read it. Now, it's a very simple process, and before you begin, there's a few key components that you'll need to be aware of. Number one, you'll need a Mac computer, an Apple computer, and the reason being is that to actually write this book, you've got to use an Apple program, and the name of the program is Apple iBooks Author, and it can be downloaded for free from the Apple App Store. So that's the first component. The second component is that you'll require an ISBN number. An ISBN number is just a unique numerical identifier that is required for a book. It's going to cost you a little bit over $100. I know I got mine for about 125 from selfpublishing.com. There's a few other sources out there for obtaining ISBN numbers. I know Bowker, BOWKER.com, and then Apple also recommended one. But I got mine for 125 bucks from selfpublishing.com. So those two components are required. The next thing is that you'll actually need to write the book. Now, the good news is that the Apple iBooks Author program is very user-friendly. If you've used iWeb or similar Apple programs, it's very easy to work with. It's really good with aligning content, both text and video. And for my book, I actually included some video clips. I included some slideshows, a bunch of pictures. It was a very, very straightforward process. Now, once it's created and once you've proofed it, the next thing is that you'll need to you'll probably want to plug in an iPad so that you can do the preview. There's a preview option within iBooks Author, and although it doesn't appear to be different from what's on the Mac screen, there are some subtle differences. And I know that, for example, with mine, when I had originally written the book, I didn't specify landscape or portrait orientation. So the result is that if I had I not proofed it on an iPad, if the user flipped the device to portrait mode, it would be a completely different experience than it was in landscape mode. Now, fortunately, there's an option within iBooks Author to where you can disable the portrait mode, and it'll force the user to use landscape mode. Now, for the book that I wrote, it was important that it be in landscape mode and not portrait. So the proofing and plugging in an Apple iPad to actually preview what the user experience will be when someone purchases it was a very important step. So keep that in mind. You'll want to have an iPad. Even if it's not your own iPad, maybe borrow a friend's iPad. And if you don't have access to an iPad, it's not a deal breaker, but if you're going to take the time to publish a book, it would probably be wise to preview it on the actual iPad device before publishing it. Now, once you've actually gotten everything proofed and ready to upload, it's a very simple process. Within the Apple iBooks Author application, there's a tutorial that will step you through it. At a high level, to recap what has to be performed, you've got to create an account with Apple, and it entitles you to actually publish content for the iTunes Store. Now, once that account's created, it'll verify your banking information. Are you going to sell this as an individual? If so, you can use your Social Security number. You're going to sell it through a corporate entity. If so, then you'll use a tax ID number. You set all of that up. It takes a few days. Apple reviews all of your information. They come back to you and say your account's approved, your account's denied. Now, at that point in time, you'll obtain access to the special Apple web page to where you can actually log in and finalize all of your settings. Make sure that everything's set up like you want it to be before you upload the book. So once everything's ready to upload, you upload it, and then you'll want to determine the book cover. Now, that can be pulled from within the file that's exported and uploaded from iBooks Author. It's got a cover page. You can use that, or you can select something different. Also, a preview of the book. People may want to download a free preview. You may want to create a second export file from iBooks Author that only contains a portion of the content of the book, just enough to give someone an idea of what they're purchasing or what they're downloading for free. You don't have to sell this. That you can distribute these for free. So That's important. Now, if you don't include one, and I can't attest to this because I didn't do it, but I've heard that if you don't include a secondary preview book, that Apple will create one for you. But I'm not sure about that, so don't assume that's the case. I went ahead and created a separate preview as well as the actual title. So that's about it. I went through all of that, uploaded it. Of course, you need to know which category to select for your book. You'll need to have a summarized description of your book, and then also keywords. Keywords are important because if people search for whatever on Google or within the iTunes store, those keywords may generate a link to your book. Other than that, publish your book. Once it's published, the process will take at least a few days because Apple's got to review the content for quality control, make sure it's an acceptable piece of work for the Apple iTunes Store. And at that point in time, it should appear on the iTunes Store. And whether or not you elected to charge or provide copies of the book for free, it'll be available for download for iPad users. So it's a really neat process, and I really loved the iBooks Author experience. It was very user friendly, and I liked how I could embed video and slideshows and pictures, and how it was so easy to center everything. I could actually focus on creating content as opposed to worrying about how I'm going to present it, because presentation is something that keeps a lot of people, that strays a lot of people away from wanting to publish something. Because even though someone has a great idea, if they're afraid that they cannot present it in a way that will be visually appealing and people will want to read, they don't do it. But with iBooks Author, it made it a really simple process. Thanks for tuning in. I welcome any comments or questions that you may have. And feel free to check out my other videos on YouTube too. Bye-bye.